We get it that you want to make the most of your cruise vacation. With modern cruise ships offering so much to do, see, and eat, it feels like it's nearly impossible to do everything. Well, luckily, there are several onboard experiences that are not worth your time and should be avoided at all costs. So, to ensure you're one step ahead of everyone else on board, we put together the 15 overrated cruise experiences that you can definitely skip on a cruise up next. Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Cruise, and I'm super excited about this week's video as it features you, members of our cruise community. When we polled expert cruisers asking them what are some of the most overrated aspects of cruising, we were surprised that one of the top answers was the sail away party. Read a cruise blog post or talk to friends that have been on a cruise, and chances are they'll tell you not to miss the sail away party. The special event happens as the ship is departing its home port, kicking off the official start of the cruise. However, as many people pointed out, the sail away party is often crowded and typically features the same music, cruise activities, and line dancing that, quite frankly, you're probably going to hear and see at every party for the rest of the week. Plus, depending on the crowd, the sail away party may be more mild or maybe more wild for some cruisers' tastes. Just spend the sail away doing what most appeals to you. It's your vacation after all. Plus, many expert cruisers point out that they actually like to watch the sail away from the home port, admiring those coastal views as the ship heads out to open ocean. So instead of cramming in with other cruisers on the pool deck as the music's blaring, many expert cruisers suggest that you find other outdoor spaces to enjoy the sail away. Besides the open air pool decks where the sail away party is most likely taking place, you might be able to find deck space maybe on the sports deck, on the aft of the ship, or your ship might have a midship outdoor promenade. These quieter, more secluded outdoor spaces would be a great opportunity for you to enjoy watching the ship sail away, maybe as others ashore are waving goodbye. It is true that there are a lot of ways to have a great sail away that doesn't involve the sail away party. And depending on your room category, you might actually have a great sail away spending the time with a welcome aboard glass of champagne on your balcony. Whether it's because you just got lucky with an early time slot or have a special perk of being able to board the ship early, most cruisers like to get on board as fast as possible. And the cruise lines have caught on to this. And now many cruise lines allow you to upgrade to a special status that makes you among some of the first to board the ship, such as Carnival Cruises' Faster to the Fun. Now on paper, this might sound nice because it allows you to get on the ship with few crowds. Plus, you get to explore before most people have boarded, and you'll be among the first at the buffet or the closest bar. But honestly, being among the first on the ship does have some downsides. First off, especially if you pay for it, keep in mind that you're only going to be on the ship 10 or 15 minutes before everyone else is allowed on board. And once the cruise lines start letting people on, they want to get them on as fast as possible. Because of course, the more people on the ship, the more money they're going to make. Second, being on board first doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be ahead of everybody else. In our experience, not all the ship's venues and amenities are even open when you're allowed to be among the first on board. So getting on board may not even put you ahead of everybody else. And then of course, there's just the logistics of getting to the ship early. If you're among the first to board, that means you might have to wake up early. Boarding early can also be a hassle regarding your hand luggage, because that needs to stay with you until your cabins are open. And that's another big thing, especially first-time cruisers don't realize. As soon as you board the ship, you can't go straight to your cabin. For most cruise lines, cabins are available between 1 and 2 p.m. So if you board the ship at 10:45 or 11, you have several hours before you can drop off any carry-ons or any luggage you brought with you. Now, we will admit, Heidi and I always try to get the earliest arrival time we can get when doing our online check-in. But we've never paid for priority embarkation, and we think some of those packages are a complete waste of money. We get a lot of questions about packing for a cruise on the channel. Many go on a cruise to relax and unwind, so we weren't too surprised when asking expert cruisers what are some of the most overrated aspects of a cruise, that one of the top answers was cruise formal night. Yes, the dreaded and often debated formal night. This is an evening, usually 1 or 2 depending on the length of the cruise, where guests dress in their fanciest clothes that they brought and can enjoy an extra elegant meal in the main dining room or in a specialty restaurant, at least for most guests. Several people think formal nights are completely overrated and unnecessary to the cruise experience. And we get it, there are plenty of cruisers in both camps. And while my wife Heidi is a big fan of cruise formal night or evening chic or elegant night, depending on the cruise line, I could take it or leave it. And honestly, I can see both sides of the equation. Some individuals just want to have a good time and don't want to be forced to wear clothes that maybe they wear for work, or just want to be able to stay in their shorts and flip-flops. While others like to take this opportunity that they don't normally get to do while at land, getting all dressed up, taking pictures, and then having a fancy dinner. While you'll still see plenty of people dress up for formal night, you'll also see plenty of people who don't dress up. So if you're going on a cruise and feel the pressure that you have to dress up for formal night, honestly, you really don't. And while the main dining room might say the suggested attire for that evening's dinner is formal wear, if you wear business casual clothes, they'll most likely let you in and you can still enjoy the same meal, the captain's toast, and all the other activities, sans the formal wear. When we first saw many individuals suggesting that hot tubs on a cruise ship were overrated, we were surprised. However, we started thinking about their points. When you read that a cruise ship has dozens of hot tubs, your mind probably goes to a relaxing image. We were sitting in a hot tub on a quiet deck in the evening, looking out over the ocean. However, this is often not the reality. Instead, you're often crammed into a small hot tub with 8 other people who are all sitting around awkwardly, not knowing what to say. Or worse, every hot tub you pass is full of people, some of them with little kids, that you can't even find an opening space. The truth of the matter is that hot tubs are a hot commodity. Yes, I said it. And honestly, we've never seen the appeal of sitting in a hot tub, especially in the Bahamas or the Caribbean, when it's already like 90 degrees outside. Thus, we don't even try to go for one because there's a small chance you'll be able to find space in one and actually enjoy it. Now, it is true the expert cruisers in our community have been sailing for a while and they've seen a lot of changes in cruising. And of course, we don't always agree with everything you guys say. Likewise, I'm sure you don't always agree with our tips either. But many cruisers did indicate that some of the big ticket attractions found on modern cruise ships are completely overrated. Modern cruise ships debut wild and unique attractions that make them especially appealing to thrill seekers or to families with little kids. These include things like Carnival's Bolt roller coaster, Norwegian Cruise Line's go-kart track, and Royal Caribbean's 10-story slide, the Ultimate Abyss, and not to mention the Category 6 water park on Icon of the Seas, which has 6 record-breaking slides. While these can be the main drivers for some individuals to pick certain ships, others think they're overrated cruise experiences. Of course, besides the water park I just mentioned, many of these attractions are an upcharge that can run anywhere from $10 to $20, and in the case of something like Carnival's Bolt, the ride itself lasts less than a minute. Cruise lines are always rolling out new upcharge amenities and attractions like escape rooms or interactive digital arcades or virtual reality experiences. For many, these upcharges are completely not worth it. But for some, activities like zip lines or rope courses are one of the main reasons they might be on a cruise. So whether or not this is important to you wholly depends on the type of experience you're looking to have on your vacation. And if you're looking forward to these attractions, just make sure to budget appropriately. And an insider tip, we always find that these onboard amusements become busier as the cruise progresses. So we suggest front-loading your cruise, even using some of these attractions on embarkation day or perhaps the first sea day when lines tend to be smaller. Now, this next one we can completely agree with, even though we have to admit on some of our first cruises, we were duped by the port shopping talks. If you've ever looked at the daily schedule on a cruise, you've seen time slots dedicated to port shopping seminars. They claim you can get useful information, like what stores you'll find, what they carry, and what souvenirs are best to look for at a particular destination. However, let's just be honest, we love cruising, but these talks are essentially just advertisements for certain stores in port that have a partnership with the cruise line to promote them. Yes, you can get some coupons, which seems nice. However, port shopping talks are a big pass for us. Often, they don't even guide you to local providers or local companies. Instead, they point you towards big brands like Diamonds International or other brands you see at multiple different ports. We actually don't necessarily agree. No, in fact, I'll take that back. We definitely don't agree with the next overrated cruise experience, but we were surprised to hear a number of individuals who completed our poll indicate that sea days are overrated. Some say that sea days are overrated as you spend an entire day, or sometimes multiple days, basically just eating and drinking and doing the same activities, the same routine trivias, or listening to the same live musical acts. For some, it feels like Groundhog Day, doing the same thing over and over again. Of course, the time it takes for your ship to feel like it's getting old does depend heavily on how big the ship is and how much it has to do, as well as how many sea days your cruise actually includes. Cruisers that consider sea days overrated are probably taking the cruise primarily for those ports of call, so that's where the attention and excitement lies. While we don't personally agree with this cruise mindset, we do understand. But to be honest, there are plenty of times we take a cruise and don't even get off the ship, especially if it's a short cruise and we're on a brand new mega ship. For us, many of these new ships are the destination themselves, and we actually care less about the itinerary. It seems like you can't ask cruisers a question about onboard experiences without some of them finally bringing up one of the most debated topics in all of cruising: drink packages. For many cruisers, the drink package is a complete waste of money and one of the most overrated cruise experiences, simply because they don't drink enough alcohol and upgraded non-alcoholic drinks. It is true, if you're not much of a drinker and you're not into other types of specialty beverages like mocktails or specialty coffees, then the cruise line drink package probably isn't right for you. This is because they are priced to be most cost effective for people who are likely to drink multiple alcoholic beverages every single day, plus some other types of for-fee drinks as well, like bottled water. Or if you drink soda but don't drink alcohol, see whether your cruise line has a soda package. Or some cruise lines have a non-alcoholic drink package, which typically cover all upcharge non-alcoholic specialty drinks. You may also want to look for onboard deals and promotions such as happy hours, buckets of beers, buy one get one deals, or other promotions that can help you save money when buying alcoholic beverages. Most cruise lines also allow cruisers to bring 2 750 milliliter bottles of wine in their carry-on luggage on embarkation day. Just check your cruise line's policies and whether they have a corkage fee. Cruise line private destinations, including their private islands, can be a great extension of the ship in many ways. Most include a barbecue buffet style lunch, a number of activities and amenities, and beaches for passengers to enjoy. On most lines, the beverage package on the ship also extends to these destinations. However, many of the individuals polled indicated that cruise line private destinations really are completely overrated. These private islands are usually just an extension of the ship. Many also indicated that they go on cruises to go to new destinations, meet new people, and explore new cultures. And when you go to a cruise line private destination, you're not doing any of those things. So if you're not really a beach fan, going to a cruise line private destination might not be right for you. The same goes for those who prefer historical tours and immersive cultural experiences during their ports. So if that's more your style of cruising, make sure to check your cruise itinerary to see if it's stopping at a cruise line private destination. Because to be honest with you, in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean, most cruise line itineraries include sometimes 1, 2, or even 3 days at a cruise line's private island. If cruisers aren't talking about formal night or the drink package, another big thing that they're complaining about is the casino. If you think casinos are better visited on land, you're not alone. Many individuals indicated that spending time in the casino is one of the most overrated cruise experiences there is. Yes, you're on vacation, and yes, there are fun casino events and games you can play with your friends. And yes, we've heard plenty of cruisers claim they get tons of free cruises from gaming in the casino. And we've heard the math, we've seen the numbers, and if you want to take that free cruise to sit in a dark, smoky room, pulling on a slot machine, then hey, that's great for you. But remember, you're on the ocean. It's hard to even tell you're on a ship with beautiful sea views if you're in the casino filled with flashing lights but no windows. For us, we'd rather spend as little time in the casino as possible, maybe a night or two, and instead enjoy all the other amenities and attractions that the cruise ship offers. When we asked our cruise community what was their most overrated cruise experience, one of the most popular answers was photo packages. And we have to strongly agree. In the digital age, where nearly all of us have a great camera in our pockets at nearly all times, photo packages just aren't worth the money. They're pretty expensive for the amount of photos you get, and the photos aren't the style that many cruisers would want anyway. We would much prefer more casual photos taken with our phone to the overly posed and artificially lighted photos from the ship's photographers. Is there a time and place for cruise ship photos? Sure, they can be great for a special event on board or for a more fancy formal night shot, but even then, you can buy photos individually. Otherwise, stick with your own phone and camera. Chances are you'll do just fine and save plenty of money. Of course, we love all of the dining on cruise ships. The name of the channel is, after all, Eat, Sleep, Cruise. And though specialty restaurants are widely popular with many cruisers, some consider them to be one of the most overrated cruise experiences. And we're kind of on the fence with this one. We've definitely gone on plenty of cruises where the complimentary food has been excellent, and we've seen no need to upgrade for a specialty restaurant. And on the other hand, we've definitely gone on cruises where we wanted to spend the extra money to try a unique restaurant or experiential dining experience that is unique to that ship or perhaps that particular cruise line. Cruisers argue that the food in the main dining room and buffet is included, and for the most part, you don't really need to pay for food anywhere else. But those specialty restaurants can be fun because they usually focus on a specific type of cuisine, and often the quality of the food and experience is better. So if you're considering a specialty restaurant, then just make sure you budget appropriately, and we always recommend you make your dining reservations pre-cruise. Most cruise lines will allow you to pre-book specialty restaurant reservations on their app or on the pre-cruise planner on the cruise line's website. On most mainstream cruise lines, an art auction takes place through the onboard art gallery, and like me, many cruisers in our poll indicate that these are completely overrated. They often incentivize passengers to attend by offering a free piece of art or free glasses of champagne. However, for the most part, we don't recommend purchasing any art on a cruise ship. Earlier, we talked about how some people consider sea days an overrated cruise experience. Now, not to be outdone, of course, several individuals indicate that the ports themselves are completely overrated. For many people, the main destination for their vacation is the ship itself. From the dining and activities to the entertainment and service, the ship really can be an all-encompassing vacation. In fact, there are cruises to nowhere in some parts of the world, where the ship goes out to sea for a few days and then comes back with 0 ports of call. Some people also consider ports overrated because many of the popular cruise destinations are very touristy in the port area, and those cruisers are looking for a more cultural and authentic experience. The great news is that unlike those who don't care for sea days, cruisers who want more time on the ship have the option just to stay on the ship when it's docked at any port of call. In fact, you can stay on the ship for the entire cruise. Now, of course, we do usually recommend, especially on one of those new mega ships with all the bells and whistles, that you pick a port day to stay on the ship. That's a little insider tip because with most cruisers getting off the ship, you have the ship all to yourself. You can have the sun deck, the water park, all those other attractions that you want to utilize with few lines and little waits. Duty-free shopping, which is shopping without taxes, both on the ship and in port, is a huge draw for some, and honestly, a completely overrated cruise experience for others. On one hand, it really is possible to get good deals on things like perfume, jewelry, cigars, and bottles of liquor. On the other hand, the list price on many of these items is marked up on the ship and in touristy port areas. So even though you're not paying tax, you still might not be getting as great a deal as you think you are. If you're interested in purchasing something duty-free that you find during your vacation, our advice is to go online and look at how much it costs from other stores or websites. That way you can make an informed decision from there. Now, to be honest, duty-free shopping is really one of those cruise ripoffs that not many cruisers will talk about. And while at the end of the day, you may just pay a few dollars more for certain items, there are other cruise ripoffs that can cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars if you're not paying attention. Well, lucky for you, right here on YouTube, we have a look at the 11 cruise ripoffs that expert cruisers never pay for on a cruise. And armed with that insider knowledge, you will be one step ahead of everyone else on board, and your next cruise will be smooth sailing.